We are live, sir.
A very good morning to all our viewers who join us live on YouTube. My name is Mayank Dhondial. I'm a professor of strategy and dean at Jindal Global Business School. And I welcome you all to this very interesting session on becoming an entrepreneur, expectations versus reality, with Mr. Paramdeep Singh Anand, who is the CEO of Field Assist, India's leading B2B sales automation platform. Mr. Paramdeep Singh Anand started his entrepreneurial journey early on and founded Param Health Foods in 2006, when he was still in his final year of mechanical engineering. He bagged numerous laurels and appreciation for the initiative and was the first student graduate incubator of the Technology Business Incubator at his university. Mr. Paramdeep is currently the CEO of Field Assist, which is empowering the sales teams of various organizations to measure the right metrics, thereby providing an in-depth analysis and helping them make the right strategic decisions. With his astute leadership, he has grown the business to a whole new horizon of success. Field Assist is now a $1 million enterprise growing at more than 100% year on year and currently serving more than 450 plus enterprise consumer goods brands in India and abroad. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Paramdeep.
Thank you, man. I'm very excited. Thank you so much, and looking forward.
I'll request Ajay, to mute his microphone. There was some noise coming at his end. So, Param, you started your, venture during your college days, Param Foods. So how did you get the idea and what was the business about?
Okay. See, the whole idea was kind of a discovery process. So I was very much involved with the TBI, as you mentioned. I was the first graduate incubator. From second year onwards itself, I had been, participating in a lot of activities around startups. That time, startup was not a word which was coined yet in Indian ecosystem. Okay, but yeah, entrepreneurship. And I remember once Dr. Kalam came to our university for a convocation of a senior batch, right? And he exuberated so much of energy that India needs job creators, relatively more than job seekers. And he planted that idea. It was there, but he just amplified it. And I was quite fortunate with the university, my chancellor and VC, everybody said that, okay, you have got a job in the pre-final year now. Can you be into an entrepreneurship? Because they wanted to foster the entrepreneurship in the student and the faculty members. I said, yeah, there's a full year ahead. So in fact, in Dr. Kalam's book, it was a very interesting thing. In the Dr. Kalam's book itself, Vision 2020, he had highlighted 5 sectors which would make India, a developed country by 2020. He was a visionary. And I said, okay, let's figure this out. And since I had to start from the scratch. So he had mentioned one of the sectors is food processing, apart from information, communication technology, and so forth. So food processing is something which I took it up, did the identification opportunity, whole exercise. And the first idea was actually to make a fruit-based, ginger-mixed drink for the people, which is having natural sweetener. But that was the plan. And as they say, that in entrepreneurship, plan never works the way you want. We ended up in something else with the product which is ready to serve food drink. And so that's how there's a whole exercise which was conducted by me. I had visited a lot of plants, a lot of consumer surveys, one-to-one kind of a thing, and figured it out that this health drink concept, I would something really want to bet upon.
And after how many years is it, still functional? Are you still involved with Param Foods currently?
So Param Health Foods was launched in 2006. Okay, and I was continuing to be there till 2013, and then took an exit to have to shift myself into a different orbit, because it was a lot of curiosity, and I really thought that there could be something much bigger as an impact which can be made, because the whole idea of making Param Health Foods was also kind of a challenge given to myself. Like, can a student be an entrepreneur? Okay, without any knowledge. Being a mechanical engineer, okay, then becoming a food technologist, sort of, then launching the product, and now today, being a CEO of an IT company. So it was all about a very journey of like challenging myself again and again. And so 2013, I took an exit. I took a break for a year. Didn't knew at all what to do after an exit. Okay, didn't plan much, but something was there which was calling. Okay, let's do something more bigger and more, which was giving me fulfillment or joy. And that's how I opted upon from Param Health Foods in 2013. So I took an exit. Yeah.
So, I mean, you talked about challenges, and no matter which, entrepreneur I talk about, it's the same theme, right? That things don't really work out the way you think they would, because there are so many variables, as part of that equation. So, what were the challenges that you faced, when you launched that company? And obviously, I believe that was the first, entrepreneurial venture for you. So, what were the challenges that you faced that you didn't anticipate before?
I think there will be a lot, and most of them are actually unexpected only. You feel once you are in a boardroom, once you are in a TBI setup, you are in an accelerator program, you are learning from books, you are learning from, let's say, more speakers, more authors, and just the way, somebody might be learning from me today, but that's not the real situation. You have to get down on the feet, get your hands dirty, and then you realize that whatever fundas you have taken about marketing, sales, finance, it is based on certain assumptions and theories, but in your own context, you have to live through them. So the challenges were many. In the manufacturing, manufacturing is my first love, by the way. So uh, I totally believe that the economy has a strong base if the manufacturing is very strong. So be product, market fit. For example, I started with the product in the glass bottles. It was an impulse buying decision of people like in summers. But I realized that, though it was so stupid of me, let me admit, I realized that, it is a seasonal drink, and logistics is an issue. It's a glass bottle, costing is an issue. It's a seasonal drink. What happens after 4 months of summer? So I had to really pivot it very fast and come out with something. I saw in a PET bottle, PET bottle, we call it. And Param Health Foods was the first of the companies in the North India to launch food-based juices or drinks in the PET bottle. The technology did not exist. There are a lot of challenges. Supplier were the challenges, getting the ingredients. So the challenges, I had to operate on the low volume. So I had to, I was not having a negotiating power. So I had to use my lot of persuasion skills, like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a student, I'm a kid, support me, get me good deals, lot of such stuff. So it was a various things. In the first year it was a loss making unit. I didn't knew much about the finance, and thanks to my father, he has been a very good finance guy, having an acumen of that, and he taught me. So I learned to do accounting and tally, filing my returns. I was not expecting. I said somebody will do it. Generally you have, when you come as an entrepreneur, you say, okay, appoint people. Somebody will take care of these things, and somebody. So, for example, sales. I thought the sales will be taken care by the people who are much more experienced than me. But it was a doomed idea. Again, my father said, go out of factory and be on the field. So I had to learn sales, and I remember the first sales which I made in a typical kirana store, and I was just watching over there. I was being humble that there's a lot of customers. I should not disturb the retail shop owner. And I was standing there for 25 minutes, with the bottles pack in my hand. And ultimately, that guy called me. He said, "What are you here for?" I said, "I'm here to sell you something." He said, "Then go sell me. Why are you waiting for it?" Okay, I didn't know. I said, "I don't want to offend you." And that was the first sales call which I did. So like that, a lot of such challenges. Capital, I had to raise a capital loan. Let's say a loan is not something which is the way it is available today. The capital, VC capital, or being a funder starter, I had to actually take a bank loan. So taking a bank loan for a fresher, for a startup, and that too without any collateral. I approached them collateral-free screen. So I had to go through a lot of learnings. I had to teach my bank how you will give me the collateral-free loan. These are the formalities, and these are your guarantees. So a lot of such stuff and dealing with a lot of departments, in government. You have to deal with labor department, you have to deal with pollution department, you have to deal with income tax, sales tax. So all those things you never knew, because in a boardroom you're in a fancy, you always see Steve Jobs. Oh, cool, this is the idea, I'll execute $1 billion enterprise. But when you get on to all these stuff, your people may cheat you, your salesmen will doom you, and what not you think can go wrong will go wrong. Whatever you think can be doomed, it will happen. You prepare for that. And of course, you can't be fully prepared. So many challenges. So product, marketing, sales, credit, can go on and on.
So, I mean, you've come a long way. You are currently the Chief Executive Officer of Field Assist. So tell us a bit about, the product Field Assist, what exactly it does, what's the value add, that it's doing.
I think Fieldless is a fantastic product. The way it is transforming the CPG industry. Let's talk about consumer product good industry, the FMCG industry. It's a highly technology-based product impacting the lives of the brand. So what we do, we do automation. We do end-to-end complete 360-degree automation with a platform which is helping the supply chain automation, the sales automation. For the CPG companies. In a simple words, a mobile application, and a lot of product suites are there, mobile analytics, web. And now all those stuff, for example, it's a sales guy, and we have about 450 plus consumer good brands. The sales guy typically has to go to the retailer kirana stores. Let's say he does a call, 40, 50 calls in a day. Now, earlier, before smartphones or earlier, people used to have a lot of their manual working, and the whole data was getting lost. And there was no eye upon the team productivity, the market pulse, and the product performance. So Field Assist empowers these brands to take real-time decisions and execute them firmly with all the market intelligence, which is getting collaborated from the various stakeholders. Let's say a sales guy on the field, who's a foot soldier, he's a hero. And he does a lot of work on his mobile application. And by the way, he's an illiterate guy. Most of them are not literate. But to get them onto mobile application, that's actually a digital India revolution, grassroots revolution. And then moving on to various stakeholders, distributors, wholesalers, and then company top hierarchy, NSMs, VPs. All of them do have their analytics platform. They have their data input mechanism, and we enable them, as I said, to take a faster decision, react to market. So we are their go-to market, partner in technology perspective. This is what we do. The Field Assist is that brand.
That's fascinating. I mean, but entrepreneurship is now, Param, as you already know, is the flavor of the season, right? And a lot of our students from Jindal Global Business School and Jindal Global University, are looking to start something of their own after their graduation. They have great ideas. So in this context, I really wanted to talk to you about, given your vast experience in the area of entrepreneurship, you've been involved in scaling up the business. So I mean, who should really think about entrepreneurship from a student perspective? Is there a personality type? Is there a certain mindset that you require? When you're talking about entrepreneurship, obviously, it's in comparison vis-a-vis of a full-time job, of a 9-to-5 job, right? So when people think about entrepreneurship, they have a very vague idea about, obviously you mentioned Steve Jobs, and, there are a lot of entrepreneurs from India also. There are a lot of, startups. Now they have entered the unicorn club. And in 2021 has been a particularly, significant year in terms of the number of companies, reaching that stage. So from a student perspective who are looking to, start their own companies, what would you suggest based on your experience? I mean, is there a certain, type of person who should start entrepreneurship, or it really depends on multiple other factors?
Oh, it's a very broad question, and thanks for asking it, because it can take a full session. And it is going to be my personal view, because see, each entrepreneur is unique. So as we are, this is 7 billion people on earth. We are all unique. So each idea or each way to execute an idea or being an entrepreneur is absolutely unique. There's no replication of it. That's my belief. And that's truth also. And if you ask a personality type, okay, no, I don't see there's any kind of a personality type which limits you to be an entrepreneur. Of course, there's something, your own limiting beliefs or your own change of role. So anybody who is going from 0 to 1, and then 1 to 10 and 10 to 100 and 100 to 10,000, each stage there will be a different attitude and different personality, roles you have to play to be successful. Otherwise, you see that there are a lot of people who get stuck. It is all because not about their personalities. So there are entrepreneurs who are quite very much introverts. There are entrepreneurs who are extroverts, and they're every type of entrepreneur. You take any personality test, you will find entrepreneur in there. The only thing will be that yes, it's about basically your why. Why do you want to be in entrepreneurship? So I can't say why somebody wants to be an entrepreneur. I can only talk about myself, but I'll say that there are many things which are kind of a perceived truths, which or the myths which need to be taken into account. And this is quite not the reason that somebody wants to start into entrepreneurship. Okay, there are plenty of things, plenty of reasons such comes up in the mind of somebody. You never start first of all entrepreneur from a worry or an anxiety or a fear or a FOMO attitude. Okay, you always start from the growth mindset. Whatever I'm doing, whatever I wish to do, is there a growth in me? Is there a growth in the stakeholders who are surrounded by me, and what I want to give for the growth perspective to the society? So everybody may have a different this thing, but it has to be about growth, and there will be some sort of fear and anxiety. But what I mean to say that since you are let's say in a job, okay, then you want to do something because you're not happy with your boss or you are not liking what you're doing. Those reasons can be very small triggers. And if I ask people, then a lot of students actually come and after 6 months of being into a software company, they feel bored and they said, okay, I want to do something of my own. I said, okay, asking 2-3 questions makes them also realize that this is. I say, okay, if I change the job, if I get you a cool manager, if I get you a good salary, still do you want to continue being an entrepreneur? And that itself answers a lot of things for themselves. So it's a self-introspection exercise which somebody needs to do. Okay, there's a lot of gyan about it. There's a lot of philosophical stuff around it also. You don't have to deep dive much because today's generation, I see they're very energetic. They want to experience it. And there are avenues, like in my time with the TBI, now you have so many accelerators. So just do it. Just do it and experience. Param is not an authority on entrepreneurship. Param or not anybody in this world. Okay. So you have to figure it out yourself. What takes you? Okay. What motivates you? What does not gets you excited? But absolutely, there's no barrier that you come from this background, you come from this college, or you come from this degree, you come from this personality type. Absolutely no barriers at all. So feel very free in that respect. So personality is one thing. Mindset I've talked about has to be something with the growth orientation only. Okay, not focusing on the outcomes, fame, okay, or money, or it has to be something which fulfills you. So there are people who are very happy being self-employed also. That's also a fantastic thing to do. I say there are people who are being intrapreneurs, okay, inside the corporates, and they are doing fantastically well. Okay, you don't have to be just for the sake of doing an entrepreneurship, you be into entrepreneurship. I understand that India is experiencing a lot of that lot of wave, lot of attraction, lot of glamour, okay, into it. But I tell you, for every one successful startup, there are hundreds in the graveyards. Okay, so that thing does not get highlighted much, by the way. Okay, so you tend to see so many stories of funding, but you don't tend to see stories of those funded startups. Where are they? After 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, after 5 years. So just have to be a little bit more aware on how to when do you want to get into entrepreneurship. Bit more aware, but do it. I said that's the formula. Ultimate. You can stand on the shores and have all the plans and ideas, but you have to get across the ocean. You have to sail, and you will never know what will turn around. But so just do it. And at whatever stage you are. So I started like in third year of my mechanical engineering. I started at 21, let's say, founded in. Today, you see entrepreneurs at 10 years, 13 years, 15 years, and there are entrepreneurs at 60 years of age also, 40 years of age also, and they're making big. So there's no age also. When do you want to start? So this would be my take. Yeah.
That's a very interesting point, Param, that you raised about failure. Of course, it doesn't get highlighted too much. And for many unicorns that attract a lot of media attention, there are so many companies, have not been able to clearly define their positioning, and they fail sometimes spectacularly in terms of achieving their business objectives. So in that context, obviously, what you're also referring to is the significant amount of risks that are involved in starting your own company. So, let me ask you this thing. I mean, is there a sweet spot in terms of your life stage when you can start a company? So, I mean, you did it when you were doing, engineering in your third year of engineering. But many people might or might not be, in that particular zone to start their own company. So, but of course, after you graduate and you get some work experience, is that the time you should start, because you have some idea about how the world functions? Or is it after, because once you get married, for example, and you have kids, you have a lot of responsibilities that way. So obviously, you cannot take that much amount of risk. So maybe 10, 15, 20 years after your marriage, your kids grow up. So obviously you're not at this stage, you're very young. But what's your sense, like, is there a sweet spot in terms of your life stage when you should ideally delve into this journey?
Uh, Unfortunately, I don't have an answer. I think nobody has an answer on this. The sweet spot, if it were to have existed, I think I don't know what's gonna be. It's not a mechanical formula, so I don't think so. There's a sweet spot. As I said, it's all about the urge when you feel. You know, there's no right time. The right time is today. That is the best time. If you want to do it, just do it today. And doing is also not, let me clarify that you really have to execute it today. That, okay, from where will I get a loan? From where will I get a people? What idea? How do I validate? Doing also is about, setting up your mind frame. I totally understand people have responsibilities and you need to figure it out that, not everybody is fortunate enough to have a loan-free education. People have parents to take care of. People have siblings. It could be many other responsibilities. So I can talk about myself. I feel that the sooner the better. That's or because I remember, once in college, I was traveling from a place known as Chittoor in AP. So VIT Vellore is in the border of Chittoor and Tamil Nadu and AP. So from Chittoor to Vellore, I was traveling in a bus, and I found two old couple, and they were actually carrying fruits and vegetables in their hands, and they were walking, very slow. And to figure it out, life will take, life is fragile. Life will take out so many turns that you won't expect, and these people are doing their job very, very responsibly. And I said, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next, and where will I land up? Let me take the risk. So sooner the better. So I don't see it as, no, that's totally my perspective. So that gave me kind of a thing, okay, Param, let's start today. You don't know what's coming up, or so I never wanted to have any kind of regret that I did not do it, or now I am not able to do it. But so absolutely no sweet spot. Take care of the things. See, again, one thing about risk, entrepreneurs are not gamblers. Let's be very clear about that. They are not gamblers. They are calculated risk takers. They're not risk averse, of course, but they're calculated risk takers. That's my belief. Okay, you just don't do it or throw it. Okay, let's dekha jayega. No. So that's an attitude you should have it, because you see that whatever planning I've done, this is the best. Rest I can't predict. So that's where you said, okay, let's do it, dekha jayega. But you don't do it or without any kind of a calculations. You have to come up with certain things, because you don't fail for the sake of failure. You don't plan for failures. Okay, you always plan for winning. That's a more of an attitude you should have. So I said risk averse. This is what I would like to say, and no sweet spot. You can start today. I've seen people. Let's talk about White Hat Junior, the Karan. He had children to support. He had a family to support, and that's why he left the job and started. So what would you say about that? He had all that hell lot of responsibility, but he started, and we know where he's today. So it has to be, from seen from that angle. Best time is today, and yeah. So mental preparation is also good enough. You being in the job also, prepare for 1 year, 6 months, talk to so many people, attend such talks, read, get through some experts, figure it out. Okay. And then that could be also be one way of not leaving your job or studies and then being responsible. But it's like, what do they do in for IAS preparation? A lot of my friends, I see that they do the jobs, but then they burn the midnight oil to do that. Who's stopping you? In fact, that will prepare you much more in a way how you want to go about your entrepreneurship journey. So just do it. And yeah, I don't think so. I have a much better answer than this. Okay.
No, that's a great answer, Param. So, let me understand the time commitment required. So you go full time into entrepreneurship. Somebody starts a business. So, from a mindset perspective, from being mentally prepared, how many hours you need to clock, especially in the initial days or initial years, rather, when you're starting a company, still figuring out things.
So when you are actually starting, or when you're starting up, so they say that you don't get cool by talking about startups or ideas a lot. You have to actually get it executed. That's the cool thing about startup. So commitment, I say that it has to be 24/7. Somebody told me that if you are running a business, then you just have to do it, all that, because initial years is going to take a lot of toll. As I said, a lot of unexpected things will happen. So commitment is definitely there. But in terms of hours, now that depends on individual to individual, and everybody has 24 hours. As I said, that somebody wants to dedicate or only could dedicate 5 hours. Somebody may have a liberty to have 24 hours also. So that is the individual context. But the commitment is, and more about commitment, it's about consistency. It's not that I worked upon my idea, people come and say that I'm a failed entrepreneur. So people actually are glorifying today a lot. I'm a failed entrepreneur, and failed entrepreneurs are getting a lot higher job interviews. So I become a bit cautious when somebody today says I'm a failed entrepreneur. Now, what you did, I for 3 months you did nothing, but you can easily showcase that I was working on an idea. I did this, I did that. Nothing substantial to show. I said, show me your code. There's nothing much about it. What the guy has done. He said, I learned something about this, learned something about that. So I did a startup. It's very easy. Just now let's do a startup. Okay. But from that perspective, you see the commitment depends, but the consistency matters. The consistency is the key. If you're able to do it 2 hours, do it 2 hours because of your circumstances. But definitely you have to get it 2 to 4 to 6 to if you are on the entrepreneurship journey, you have to be in it. According to me, you have to be in it 24/7. As I said about commitment, and I also believe in one thing, though it has turned out to be a boon for me, that you burn the bridges. You don't say that, okay, I'm trying to become an entrepreneur. You can't try to become an entrepreneur. Either you become or you don't become. It's as simple, plain vanilla, 0 or 1. You don't say I'm trying to do this. That mentality should be it's a self-defeating mentality. One may make a fool out of himself, or may just get a kind of a glorification, but that should not be that. So burn the bridges. So when I started, this field assist, when I met my co-founders, it was totally, that time I was not talking or thinking anything that, okay, what is happening to Param Health Foods. I clearly burned the bridges. That kind of a detachment you should have. But if I'm going after it, I'm just going after it. And we have so many stories, so many great movies out of it. You see all the journeys. They at some point of time they had to take this pivot. So just of that, you have to be an entrepreneur. So be an entrepreneur. Don't think anything else. Passive income, active income, all those formulas will not work out. Okay.
Just totally go for it. So, you mentioned coding, and obviously, Field Assist also is a very technology-based platform. In fact, technology now is at the very core of, many of the startups that we find. Now, does that also mean, Param, that, entrepreneurs need to be very tech savvy? They need to be, very involved with technology, if the product is very technology based, or I mean, how does it work? So not all the entrepreneurs, I'm sure, have the engineering background, or they come from an IT area. And given your experience with field assist, which is obviously a very tech focused product, and now, right? So so from that perspective, what would you say? The entrepreneur who is launching that product, how much tech savvy are we talking about?
So tech savvy, definitely. I think understanding technology, the impact of it, how is it going to change life, but that does not mean necessarily that you have to be a coder. Okay, you have to be hands on it. It is definitely a very big plus point. Okay, but being an entrepreneur is an amalgamation of skills. It's a complementary skills. You so let's take two. One is you are creating a product. You are a product builder, and then second is you are a sales guy. You are selling the product. Okay, in these two things, then as the companies grow, you can expand. In engineering and product, in customer success or operations or marketing and sales. But primarily, I think these two things are very important. And don't limit yourself. There are plenty of people who are not from the technology background, but they had the passion and they knew, so they find their complementary skill set people. That's why you find a co-founder. So I was very fortunate to have a co-founder who was a tech savvy, and he was a coder and built this product. I'm not from the tech coding background, but I have a huge respect for the tech, and I know what tech being by leveraging tech what can be done. Jeff Bezos is not a techie. But he knows what technology can do about it. It's not about direct coding. So again, that should not come as a limiting factor for the. But yes, read about it. How the trends are changing, which technology is coming. How do you get hold onto building a great product? So you be very very user centric. You know your user very well. So there will be definitely your own competitive advantages which you have. You just have to find the complementary skills. So either you hire or you collaborate. There are many companies who have done the whole outsourcing of their technology piece. In the US, many companies are there who are outsourcing the technology to centers in India. They themselves are not. I know a great CEO who is a bartender, who was a bartender. Okay, knew nothing about technology. Okay, but he has outsourced here, and it's perfectly fine. It's working out. So, but yes, tech savviness has to be there today, because the way digitization is happening, nobody can live in that ignorance. Anybody who is actually gonna lose out. And the way the technology is accelerating the growth, whatever used to happen, 10 years is happening now, 2 years. Nobody predicted somebody is going to, somebody like a Google or Facebook going to invest in Geo. Nobody predicted. Nobody predicted the D2C brands making 100 crores in 5 years. Nobody predicted that. Now, all these kind of things are happening. It's the only way you can be ready about is that just keep your eyes and ears open, and keep your knowledge base or knowledge channels open. Absorb as much as you can, whatever, because there's not enough. You can never have that. Okay, I'm perfect. The moment you say that, things actually are getting disrupted. So absolutely no barrier. But yes, it's great. In fact, a lot of I say to all the college students here, just figure it out. Besides you, there could be a co-founder. Okay, so take advantage of these things. Be a team worker. Not so entrepreneur cannot work in silos. That person could be self-employed. Okay, the scale will not happen, and that mindset has to be shed away. In fact, all our colleges and institutions need to, I think, have to do bit more on inculcating the spirit of working in teams. Okay, not in silos. In entrepreneurs, you may the reason could be, the expectations could be, I want to be my own boss. Okay, and I want to be free guy. I want to steer the ship. I want to be the captain. That's why I'm getting into entrepreneurship. Sorry, hard reality. You are actually answerable to so many people. You're answerable to your clients. You're answerable to your people. You're answerable to your investors. There's so many people. You will not feel like you are free. Okay, it is just, you will feel like it's too much of bondages you may feel, but only if you have that, figure it out why I'm doing it, that you will sail through it in a joyful manner. But this is also a myth. People want to be answerable to themselves only. You ask any CEO, ask any founder. No, they are answerable to so many people. As I said, so that's also a kind of perception which needs to be broken, I feel. And teamwork is something I think you can do a fantastic job over there, and figure it out who are the people around you. There could be early testers of your product. Institutes, for me, I used to get my product tested and tested both by my faculty, by sending it to the hostel. Boys, girls, they used to give me a lot of feedback. Is it tasting good? Is it looking good? What needs to be added? So I totally believe as a student, you have so many advantages getting yourself, even you don't turn out to be a full time, but you have so many advantages that you can have a test market. Okay. Being a student, everybody, for example, I tell you, if when I started Paramount Foods, I wanted to get into technology know-how. Okay. So if you ever get into a fruit juice plant of there's a very renowned, the biggest player, one of the biggest players in the country. If I have to go just like that and I say that I want to start up and I want to be your competitor in future. I want to learn what you're saying and what you are dealing with, what kind of machine technology. Who's going to get you that inside it? Only as a student, as a learner, from your HOD a letter that I want to do an internship over there. You go and figure it out. You make connections. You figure out how the things are happening. So that's a fantastic way. Take student is has a very high competitive advantage. If you want to turn to be an entrepreneur, but don't think that you are age or anything of the sweet spot. I think take as much benefit as you can. Everybody helps out to be a student. Everybody will go out of the way to help you out. You just be ready to ask for a help.
Right. So, Param, you know that the topic of this conversation is reality versus expectations, right? So, and the talk is primarily meant for the students of Jindal Global University, many of whom are very interested in starting their own ventures, right? So, may I request you? I know that you have prepared a deck, so maybe don the hat of a teacher for some time, and maybe share your experiences and what you can think adds real value for this particular topic about reality versus expectations. So in terms of setting the right mindset, maybe I would request you to go ahead and talk about the next 10 to 15 minutes on what to expect when you start your own venture.
Sure.
So,
thank you, Frank. I'll not take more than maybe 7-8 minutes, but let me showcase what I wish to. Though I have covered it along in my journey as well. Okay. And if you see here, good. I'll just do a quick wrap.
Yeah.
This is the university, this is the initial days of the lab. You have to do a lot of hand, work. You have to go to early days, early morning, 3 a.m. in the fruit mandis, get the fruit from them. This is the first lot which I made. Okay. And this was, by the way, this was the name of the product. I'm Fresh. A lot of people relate it to I'm Fresh because it's a food product. Okay.
Right.
But I chose this name because I was a fresher. It was Param who was a fresher. So I saw the name I'm Fresh being out of the college. Some early days of this plant and all, then new product. But let me, this is about field versus application. I would really invite people to understand more of SaaS and technology and the B2B. Do visit our website. You'll get a lot of stuff to read. Let me come to this, what I was talking about, the perception versus realities or expectations versus realities. So this is what the stats say, So first of all, as an entrepreneur, be ready to die. Okay. It's like people want to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. People want to be billionaires, but they don't want to, fail. So these are the statistics which I wish to show to each of you so that you are better prepared why things do not work out. Okay, so that, of course, the list could be very unpredictable, but yes, this is something which institutes or the student themselves can learn and then be ready from the mindset point of view. And let's see this one thing, the love with your idea. I think this is something which I've listened thousands of times. So this board, if you say, Anderson and Sons, eventually I'm assuming, I mean, it only makes sense, right? Because you're talking to yourself and you're talking to maybe your peers or your friends or your parents. I have this idea. I know it will make sense and it will work around. But come to the reality. Your idea in today's time, definitely having something very unique is a very rare chance that nobody in the world would have thought about this idea. Okay. So you have to be practical about it. It's not about that you don't pursue your idea. Definitely, there's not just one e-commerce site, right? There was not just one social commerce website. There's plenty of them, and new ideas are coming up. But don't fall in the trap of being into the love with your idea, okay? Because it is your idea. You have to get it into the market, and now market, as I said, could be validate it, test it, get the critical feedback, brutal feedback, something you don't wish to hear. Let it come. Let it make you uncomfortable. Face the hard thing. Then you will be able to actually figure it out. What is the worth in this idea? What is the addressable market? Let's say, or what is the scalability? Will I hit somewhere? Or my initial product is also not doing good. So I just want to emphasize on this. Don't fall in love with your idea. Okay, so have that kind of a detachment that it may turn out to be a bad idea. Okay.
That is important. Yeah.
Moving on, as I said, in this crowd, it's not that you are the only one who has ideas. So this is not enough to have ideas. As Dhirubhai said, that ideas are no one's monopoly. And in today's world, if you see, we are so connected and digitally empowered. And there's a thin line between the economies, and you have all the access to resources. So ideas, the brains, we have very sharp IQ people in today's generation. All of you must be having higher IQ than me, but that's not enough. You have to get into an execution of it. You can't just daydream and think about it. You actually have to get into it. So that's what I was talking about earlier also. Talking about startups isn't cool. You know what's cool? It's building a startup. And that's about the execution piece. And this is going to be very, very rough and tough and not so glamorous. And you have to be really, so for me, I had worked as an accountant, as a delivery boy, okay, as a sales guy, as a licensing person, and you have to do all of that. It's not going to be that you are in an environment where you have to reply to your clients by yourself and do the surveys and get into the market, test it by yourself. So many things you have to do it by yourself to get the right execution, and then you figure it out whether it's going to fail or whether it's working. If it is failing, then just pivot fast, and then go about it. So your plan could be this, rosy and all. Ultimately, you'll reach there. It's not a matter of just how fast. It is a matter of like, it's not about time. Tomorrow you have to reach there. You will reach there, but just perceive that this is how the reality gonna be. And very importantly, because this is something, actually it's entire anybody who wants to succeed. Even what you have come through, Mank, it's a great feat. You must have felt this is my plan. I will go abroad and study this and this. But things turn out this way. This is for everybody, particularly today, because we're talking about entrepreneurs. This is what I want to showcase: a day in the life as an entrepreneur. Many times you'll be emotionally high, and then another time you'll be like emotionally banned, and there will be many factors beyond your control. So this is what you need to expect. So if you're expecting this, you will be actually preparing better, because ultimately it's going to happen. It's not something which you can't say that, okay, I'll be aloof and then I'll be successful. It is not going to happen. So you need to take care of your emotional wellness very, very strong. This today, if anybody comes to me as one of the advice, how to prepare myself as an entrepreneur, I would seriously ask that person, build the capacity to take the stress. This is what you could do. Don't, let's say in your college life, when I say build the capacity to take stress, do as much co-curricular activities, participate in unrelated events, not just your domain, but do, because the risk of failure is very, very low over there. But your mind will get prepared. So whether you fail as an, in your startup, your idea does not work, execution lacks somewhere, but you will never ever fail as an entrepreneur. It's like, of course, you are going in the game to play and win. But even if you don't win, actually you will be acquiring certain skills to play the game better next time. So as an entrepreneur, you always succeed if you have that learning attitude and you take failure just by your side. That so failure is my buddy. Okay, so emotionally wellness, physical wellness. That's what I would suggest. That build that capacity to take stress. Of course, it's a life skill to have, but must have as an entrepreneur. So wherever you are, sooner you are out of your comfort zone and face the reality. This is one advice I would say, that be very much prepared. It may soon. I was not prepared. To be very frank, I was not prepared. I didn't knew that it's like playing with the fire. I burnt my fingers badly. I was emotionally stressed, mentally stressed, physically. I was very stressed, and the things were at the age of 25. My health was like not at all good. Okay, so these are the things. You are not your business. You are not your, detach yourself from the idea, from the business. You are yourself. As long as you are there, able to build the capacity to handle things. No, if not one startup, another startup, then another startup, things will get figured out. But this, you must take it very, very seriously, especially in today's instant gratification era. Okay, when you have some social media distraction, everybody's enjoying the life except me. So that's how the things get portrayed. So this is one thing which I feel that as a reality, take it very seriously. Okay, and so this quote by Sid Godin, because you're going to get a lot of dips and a lot of lows. This is one thing, that real question, as he says, that what will make you push through that dip? So remember, why did you get into entrepreneurship? Okay. And what was the reason behind it? The reason may not last long, okay, because you say, I give up. And the reason was not strong enough for me. But you will not basically calculate it or imagine it or extrapolate it. You have to get through it to get this realization. So try out things as soon as possible in your 20s and 30s, because today it's not about, simply your basic needs are very well taken care. People are doing a lot of freelancing job, parents are well off. They are able to take largely as compared to, 10 years or 20 years back. Take that as your competitive advantage. Try out things. Do a lot of internships. You don't have to, let's say you are out of college. If you are able to get sustained, do internships, figure it out, get into unrelated areas which are exciting to you. But you have to figure it out, is this exciting enough? Is this sustainable enough? Or it was just a illusionary, it was just infatuation. But unless you get through it, you will not know it. So even to find out this is a very philosophical but very important question, and answers won't come out so easily. Gyan is something a lot of people can give, but you have to live through it to actually gain your own gyan, so that you can give gyan to most of the other people, like I'm doing right now. But it's not me who's actually is going to work for you. You have to work for yourself. But the real important thing is just get onto the work. Either mentally preparing yourself, get onto idea, collaborate, network, whatever, and figure it out your thing, what you want to do. Because if it is not figured out, and be ready to have failures, but just figure this out. Till the time, just keep on doing it. And this is what I wanted to say. Though I mentioned earlier also, this is something I wrote before I started, Param Health Foods. Why I want to be an entrepreneur, what is the way to be an entrepreneur. So for me, the key is the self-awareness. So knowing yourself first, knowing your dislikes or likes, knowing your behavior, your mood cycle, what ticks you, what do you love, your IQ, your EQ, even your spiritual quotient. Okay. Know when you are at peace with yourself, when you are angry, what you hate most, what you never want to do. That's non-negotiable for you. You never compromise on that. Okay. The reason why you want to be an entrepreneur, it's basically will stem out from your own understanding. Okay. And you could be a pessimistic. We have entrepreneurs who are very pessimistic. We always say that being an entrepreneur, you have to be seeing a positive picture. So I'm not talking about being a pessimistic, you're the extreme, but there will be a fair bit of pessimism has to be there. You can't be a very hopeful, always optimistic, everything will go good only, pray to pray to God, pray to yourself. You have to be realistic also, but you can't be over optimistic, but you can't be over pessimistic. There are people who have invented things, being entrepreneurs, who are very lethargic also. Some new things they have invented. It is not about being passive, but it is about being, just make out something for myself. Because I didn't like this way this gadget is, because it's too cumbersome. I tell you, a lot of people, code because they want to make things fast, because they said, who's going to get all these things done in a this way? So people are coders. They are making IoT gadgets at their homes out of laziness, but they're creating something. They can scale it up later on. But each business model, each business strategy, key to survival is individual. It all depends on your nature. There's no duplication. You can get inspired, but you have to live your own journey. So there's gonna be only one Bill Gates ever. There'll only be one Dhirubhai, one Balachandran. I wrote this because Balachandran sir was my mentor. One Param and only one you. Okay. So no limitations at all. You could be whatever personality traits. You'll keep on learning, but there's absolutely no that entrepreneurs are typically born. They are born also, but they are made also. And another thing, as I said, don't take it personally. If this is a life skill also, but for entrepreneurs, it's very, very important, so that you can rebound fast. You to have a resilient nature, but don't take it personally. This is what I wanted to say. People.
Well, this is great, Param. I think you almost sound like a guru here, Param. Talking about all these life skills. I think it's extremely important. What you mentioned. I think 2-3 major takeaways that I see. Obviously, one is, of course, being humble. I think that really helps, because from what you say, obviously one thing that can be expected in an entrepreneurship journey is setbacks. I think that is something that you can certainly expect from what you tell me and from what I've heard from others as well. So setbacks are bound to happen. Now, how large or how small they are, I think only time would tell, and depends on the product and when do you take it, how do you take it. But otherwise, I think they're bound to happen. And in that context, the second important takeaway from what you said is obviously, that being optimistic and taking care of your, health, both physical, mental, spiritual. So in your case, Param, if I can ask you, because obviously you mentioned that, in your case also, there were multiple setbacks. First with Param, Foods, and obviously with Field Assist, I'm sure you must have experienced. So in that context, what was your source of support in your own life? I mean, how did you manage that stress? Because you obviously mentioned that stress at times could be overwhelming. So it's extremely important. In fact, other than your domain knowledge or how tech savvy you are, I think ultimately it also boils down to how much stress you can take. If you can take those setbacks and move forward and keep on moving forward. So what was your source of strength, during that time?
Okay, I'm still learning on this, man. And please don't call me as a guru or something. I'm still learning. I still make a lot of mistakes every day. But one thing which is particularly for me as a source of strength is the knowledge. Okay, the knowledge, let's say what I read, what I listen, what I talk to the people. First thing which gives me come out of stress or helps me to build my capacity of handling stress is definitely knowledge. That's the first thing for me. So how to deal with things, how to make things better, everything, absorbing a lot from that. So one is that. Second thing is, which I feel, the people you are hanging out with. Choose your company very, very wisely. The people you are hanging out with, and your friends, your colleagues, your peers, and definitely your family. If you are married, or even if you're not, your parents, your siblings, everybody. So that's kind of a thing. So I've never been, for example, from family side, I have been given very free hand to do certain things. And though they complain a lot, and but I do take things granted from them. But that's also a kind of a big stress buster, or able to handle the stress. But as a knowledge is, and the kind of people you are hanging out with, it has really my team actually takes care of me a lot of times. So as a CEO, if I'm failing, I'm mentally not right, my team, my immediate, all the functional heads, they'll say that, don't, why are you taking stress? No, we'll figure it out. having that kind of a all is well, kind of a mantra coming out from the people whom you are actually supposed to take care of, but when you just let it out that I need help, and you are getting it that. So only those people can actually take you out from that. So how to build, because you also have to reciprocate. So two things I'll say right now, which is coming top of my mind is knowledge, and knowledge will lead to a lot many things. You have to do certain lifestyle shift in me, because I know now I cannot, sustain the same lifestyle the way I used to have. In startups, you were like working like hell. But now at this stage of scale up, don't have to work with hands, but you have to work with mind. So your mind needs rest to be creative high. Okay. So those things again in knowledge will make an impact. That's what has happened to me. I'm still learning. I'm not at all an expert on this. I'm still learning. But yes, in the people you have, I think that makes the lot of difference.
Great, Paparam. Maybe you want to, stop sharing, and then we can have a conversation. The slide was wonderful. It was really good. Great. There you are. So, now Field Assist, where of course, you are the Chief Executive Officer, Param. And it's now $1 million enterprise, growing at more than 100% year on year. So, tell us a bit about, who are your clients, at least the more prominent ones, and maybe some very interesting stories that might have happened in the last 1 year or so, where there were a lot of learning opportunities for you, because of course from Param Foods you have moved a long way now. Field Assist is a established brand, is doing great business, making a name for itself. So what have been your learnings in this company, which is obviously has acquired a certain scale, Field Assist? So maybe a few clients of Field Assist, and a few interesting stories, maybe in the last 1 year or so.
Okay. So learnings, one thing I would say, as I mentioned before also, it's all about team. It's all about people. It's whatever it could be. Today, we are turning out beautiful products, fantastic products. It's all because of the people. Okay. Now, people will include your own team and even the customers who are believing in you. So I remember, in a very large FMCG group, when we had when we have zero client and we have no credibility in the FMCG sector, and I'm talking about it's like 3,000 crore growth, and they want to get into an automation journey, and they say, why we should get with you? I mean, you don't have credibility. There are MNCs here, Infosys, Accenture, so many people are there, and why should we go with you? And at that time, I told them, it's not that you are buying my product. Okay? You are buying me. I'm selling myself because I understand the FMCG, and I could count on myself, not because I have all the abilities. It was because of the team backing, and I could count on that. So we won the contract. And there has been, and similarly, it's not that we have not been making mistakes, but we are happily admitting it. And there are clients who will just grill you and say that you claim to be this and this, but you are not able to make this simple thing. But we very humbly we say, and that we are there for you. We're not leaving you alone. If you don't want to pay, that's fine. But let me get the problem solved. My team will not rest until this problem is solved. So it's about the people part, which I learned, and that's why I keep on stressing this a lot. From the very young age of this team acknowledgement happens. It is fantastic. So this is what I learned. And ultimately, again, I said that people are people. You have to recognize that empathy is something which you talk about with the clients. They will thrash you. They will appreciate you, whatever. Ultimately, it's something which is bothering them or something you are making them, achieve more in their life. If that motto is there, so that you do not get into emotional, you don't have to get emotional in the sense that you don't have to get into that taking things personally again. You are just being there to take care of the clients, their problems, understanding from where they are coming, whether it's the business issue or it's a personal issue, how to tackle both of them, in separation. So we deal with so many people, and the clients who have trusted us, there are plenty of them. I'm very, very fortunate, and also the people who have joined us. In the last 1 year, if we talk about stories, in fact, in the pandemic, we have done a lot of hiring. We were short of revenues, but even though when we were short of revenues, and we had actually lost revenues in those 3 months lockdown, but we went to our customers and gave them, some sort of all discounts also, and say that we are not asking you to pay right now. Let's staggerate it. We set up a war room in our company, which was churning out all the details related to lockdown, supply chain movements, laws, what is opening where, because the essential goods supply was on. So a lot of our clients are into essential goods. We were not telling them buy field assist. We were cold calling them and helping them. This is the news, and these are the different, various forms of the government. If you have to get the pass for your vehicle to get from one state to another state, and this is all what we were actually doing. We were just thinking of our customers to win, and that kind of a trust and appreciation what we received. And our whole motto of the company was, "We are there for you." There was absolutely no talks of finance. There were absolutely no talks of sales, because revenue was lost. So that's come to mind. So all our sales team, all our marketing team, all our product team, everybody was taking care of one thing. And we have actually produced overnight applications, let's say in 10 days, where we were able to make the products of the companies reach from one point, from the godown to the another distributor, to the wholesaler, to the retailer. And people have also cooperated with us, even though if it is not their retailer, their distributor, they were actually exchanging information just to make sure that consumer gets essential goods. So that kind of, there are hundreds of stories of that sort. Time will be short. So from there's no credibility, but generating credibility. So it is again the people factor. Team, again the people factor. Clients, again the people factor. Clients serving their consumers, we have learned a lot from them. They're serving their consumers because they are also not taking any advantage of the situation, or they are not talking about we are getting at loss. Everybody was thinking their people, consumer as a people, everything. So this people part is has always, it may not result in the financial successes. We did last year we did a very healthy appraisal for our people. It was not a financial decision at all. It was an emotional decision. I didn't see my bank balance or my balance sheet, how much we can give. In the pandemic, in the year ending 2020, we did that because we saw that they deserve it. Okay, we have seen failures before also. We have been not profit making initial 3-4 days. We may get down again, but we know that our customers are going to support us. So our investors are actually our customers. There's no other investor. So this thing, I feel I may be able to justify what you would ask for. So this is, I feel that people and people's stories, they make up everything in this world. So everything boils down to P2P at the end of the day.
No, this is great, Param. Let me thank you for this fascinating conversation that you had, with Jindal Global Business School. And I'm sure, all our budding entrepreneurs at Jindal Global Business School and Jindal Global University would find this conversation very, very helpful. And I look forward to, having you sometime in the campus whenever we open, possibly, soon this semester. But definitely, I'm looking forward to see you next semester sometime. So on that note, thank you again for being part of this conversation. It was really great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, everyone. And wish you all the best. Keep rocking.
Thank you, Pawan. All right. See ya.